What's going on, champs and chambettes? It's FireMonkey here, and we are currently in the Fortnite item shop because the item shop is actually going to be changing in some very interesting ways very soon. So firstly, as you guys can see right here in the item shop, we have a lot of normal stuff going on, tons of tabs, like a million DC tabs right now, but it's a pretty generic, standardized item shop with how Epic Games has been, doing the item shop recently. However, there is one small change that was added with the most recent Fortnite update, and actually to showcase this to you guys, I will be going over here in my settings, maxing out my volume, so this is going to be pretty loud, in comparison to what you guys typically hear, and I will simply be scrolling up and down. As you can hear, it's a little bit of a silent sound, but there is this little bit of like a whoosh sound that is going on whenever you go through tabs that wasn't there before. Some people thought maybe this was just for, the My Hero Academia collaboration and would be gone once the background's gone or whatever. Some people thought other things about it or whatnot, but in general, when it comes to the actual whoosh sound, it is a part of around 12 different sound effects that got added to the game files with the most recent Fortnite update as they're preparing to, revamp the item shop entirely. Now, when I say revamp it entirely, I don't mean that they're going to make another design away from the one that we currently have, but we do know they have been doing some modifications to the current design we see in-game, such as adding extra tabs for stuff like DC, for example, so that there is no left to right scroll bar. Because if you guys remember, well, yes, you can scroll up and down. There used to be a thing that would happen in the item shop every so often, where one tab would have so many items that you would be able to scroll left to right, or, when you're on controller, just kind of, push the button a few times to the left or right in order to move over to the sides to see what we're actually in those tabs. However, recently Epic Games has had a focus on making it so everything is in its own tab and nothing actually has that scroll bar. That is why we've had extra DC tabs added very recently, is because one of the things they want to do away with is that whole entire scroll bar system that we had seen before. They want to make it so in the game, you just have everything in a generic view where you can scroll down and all see it without having to do the extra work of, pushing a few buttons in order to see some 2 extra cosmetics in the item shop. But that was one of the few changes Epic Games has been doing recently, which has caused people to speculate originally, oh, maybe we're getting new, DC cosmetics, which wasn't the case or anything. It was just them adding extra tabs and stuff like that. All it really is them trying to space out everything so that everything has its own little section and nothing has a left to right scroll bar. But that isn't the only thing they're also working on. They're working on something called a multi-product store, and what this is basically is, think about these bundles right here, right? Like if we have the J Balvin bundle, the Jurassic J bundle, and all that type of stuff, think about when you click on it, what happens? You click it and then you get a preview of all the cosmetics, being the skin, the back bling, the pickaxe, the actual glider, and the loading screen, a part of that bundle. However, there are times when the item shop is just chock full of a collaboration. So for example, right now we have 11 tabs of actual DC cosmetics, and that is a lot of stuff to see in the shop. However, they're working on something called a multi-product store, meaning instead of having 11 DC tabs, you will have a button that is for specifically DC cosmetics. That would work similar to how we have like the Batman Zero bundle or whatever. However, it would advertise multiple skins in it. And what would happen is, think about it like this, right? If I was to click this Batman Zero bundle, and for example, let's just say it was just a DC bundle, if I was to click that, it would actually open up, I don't know, my shop just reset right there. That was interesting. But it would actually open up a new tab that would only have all of those 11 DC tabs inside of it. So instead of having to scroll through all this type of stuff, you would have the normal stuff up here, right? You would have, for example, your featured, your daily, your J Balvin or whatever, your My Hero, but then, as you go further down, instead of having all of these tabs on the sidebar, you see all these little buttons and everything else, instead of having all of them there, you would just have it all condensed into one button that, when clicked, would open up an additional section of a shop that would showcase those 11 tabs full of DC cosmetics, instead of having a situation where it clutters up the entire shop. It would also make it super easy for them to do that type of system whenever they're trying to do something such as, have multiple collaborations in the shop at once. So for example, if DC is back and if Marvel's back or anything like that, imagine having a button right here for the DC cosmetics, a button right here for the Marvel cosmetics, and a button right here for, I don't know, My Hero Academia or something, making it so you can just click those buttons and see the tabs that have all the cosmetics that have returned inside of those buttons, instead of having a situation where you have to scroll down through all of this stuff. You scroll just to get to the turn the music up up tab, right? Instead of having to scroll 11 tabs just to get to this, you would only have one row. That would just be like, hey, if you want to see the DC stuff, click this button right here. If you don't really care about these collaborations or you already own everything from it, you know, you can just skip past this button. You don't have to worry about it. And that is one of the major updates coming to the item shop very soon. And one of the things that I think is the reason it's taking so long to actually release in the game is because they want to make it so, let's say for example, a certain cosmetic that is supposed to be a part of DC or something like that is unable to return. It doesn't show up in like the image asset or whatever as just a static image, to the point where they're like, well, you know, it didn't return, so technically we can't use this image because it's false advertising. I think they might be trying to work on a system where it will always advertise at least one or two of the skins that are in that actual section, instead of being something where it might advertise a skin that isn't in that section, because at least as of right now, based on the leaks, it'd be a solid image, right? So for example, if we had My Hero in its own tab, it would be a solid image that would not feature any of the new collaboration cosmetics at all, unless they would update that image, but it would only feature the first set of collaboration characters. The Wave 1 collaboration, it would show all the skins in one little button, you'd be able to click it, and that would be all that you would see, and it would just be very static to that point. So I think they're trying to work on trying to make it more versatile, so if there's a last minute issue where a cosmetic can't be seen in that tab, they're able to modify the image so it doesn't show up there, because we know there's been times before, such as recently with the Star Wars collaboration, where two different shop tabs that were originally, you know, enabled in the shop and everything else got disabled, where you were unable to see it in game anymore. You're still able to see it in APIs and stuff, and if they were using that new, you know, shop tab system and those tabs were to get disabled, but they were featured in the actual tab button you would be able to click on to expand those sections, then it would have been like false advertising in a way, because it's like, yeah, they're not there anymore, but technically they were there when this released, even though those tabs got removed, and you can still see their icons on the actual, you know, section tab multi-product store button that you'd be able to see, and it would look similar to one of the bundles in the game, right? So for example, you know, these bundles that you can just click on that show all the cosmetics, it would look super similar to those. It would just be slightly altered so that instead of bringing up a bundle of cosmetics, it would bring up another tab, or, you know, another section of your item shop full of shop tabs. So I'd love to hear in the comments down below, what do you think about this item shop reset, or, you know, refresh Epic Games is trying to do here? What do you think about the recent changes, such as the weird little whoosh sound, the actual fact that they're trying to make it so everything is on one little viewable page instead of being scrollable left to right, and the fact that they want to bundle stuff like DC or Marvel tabs into their own actual bundled section, so that it's not cluttering up the main shop with a whole entire area where you have to scroll 5 million years just to reach the bottom of the list. But with that said, my name is FireMonkey. Hope you champs and champions enjoyed today's video, and I'll catch you guys later with another upload. Peace out.